Hi, and welcome to Assembling God's Puzzle, Reflections on Health and Wholeness. I'm Father Garry Richmeyer. I'm a member of the Society of the Precious Blood. I've been ordained about 39 years. I've been a licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist for about 28 years. And in working with people all those years, those people have taught me a lot about life, especially about living life, what works, what doesn't, what makes life better, what makes it maybe worse. And I've learned a lot over those years, and I wanted to share what I've learned with a wider audience. That's why I've chosen to do these video blogs to share with people whatever might be helpful. I hope that what I have to share is you'll find helpful. I've come to look at life kind of like a puzzle. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Now, if you've done a jigsaw puzzle, you know how it looks. You dump all the pieces out on the table. And if it's a big one, like 1,000 or 5,000 piece, it takes a while just to turn the pieces over to the right side, let alone put them together. And then what you have is a mess. It looks like chaos. It looks like a bunch of pieces that don't fit together. But it's a jigsaw puzzle, so it does. We know it does. And you have to kind of figure it out. You have to kind of put the pieces together, see what connects, see what doesn't. And that's what a puzzle is. Now, the philosopher Heidegger said that's what we as human beings, we've been kind of thrown into this world with a bunch of puzzle pieces. Been thrown in by God. God has thrown us here and put us here and given us all kinds of puzzle pieces. Some of those puzzle pieces are our skills, our abilities. Some of that is our ethnic background, our uh, our gender, these particular parents that we've have these siblings, these events in our lives, these illnesses, these successes, these failures. All these things are pieces of the puzzle that we are stuck with, actually. We don't know why God has given us all these things, all these different aspects, all these puzzle pieces, but that's what God has done. So it's kind of God's puzzle that we're working with. Now, if you don't want to, if it feels like you're blaming God for something, you can always say, well, it's life, gives us all these puzzle pieces. Of course, I think that God and life about the same thing. But anyway, we have to do some of all these puzzle pieces, even the ones that we don't think belong. You look at a jigsaw puzzle and some of different colors and shapes, and no way that can be part of the puzzle. And we would like to get rid of them, some of them, like illnesses, deaths of loved ones. We'd like to get rid of those because they don't fit. But we know any jigsaw puzzle, they all fit. And without any of those, the picture is not complete. So that is what we're about. We're taking all these pieces and trying to figure out, well, how do they fit? And that's what I'd like to share in these sessions, what I've learned from people, how they've dealt with the puzzle pieces, how they've dealt with life and all the things that life has thrown at us, and how do you situate those things in our lives so that they don't cause so much pain, so much suffering, so much worry, so much anxiety. That makes our lives better. So that's kind of the point, I think, as we're kind of dealing with life. That's why I've named this series of talks, assembling God's puzzle. And the second part, talking about health and wholeness. All of those pieces make a whole picture. Now, we don't know what the picture is. God has not given us the box that the puzzle came in that gives us the picture of what it's supposed to look like. We don't have that. But we know there's a picture. God knows the picture. And we do our best to try to figure that out, to put these pieces together. And it's a whole. It's one whole thing. Just like the body needs, all the different minerals and nutrients to be healthy, we can't just skip some. Can't just say, I don't want vitamin C. Throw that out. We're not going to be healthy. Just in the same way, we have to fit all these things in our lives together, all these different puzzle pieces. And somehow that brings us to a whole. That brings us to a whole picture, brings us to wholeness and health. Wholeness and health to me are synonymous. They mean the same thing. In order to be healthy, we need everything. We need the whole. And that's where our not only physical health comes from, but our spiritual health also. To believe, to have trust that these puzzle pieces that we've been given fit somehow. There's a purpose. It fits God's picture, God's plan somehow. And if we do that, then we can be a little bit more at peace. We can be a little bit more happy. We can be a little bit more not so anxious about what's going to happen, how all these things fit together. But we just keep trying to do that. Now, assembling the puzzle, maybe that's a misnomer. Maybe we never get to assembling the whole thing because we keep getting new pieces, new puzzle pieces. God keeps throwing things at us that we didn't have before. And yet we have to fit those in also. So maybe the point of life is not just completing the picture, putting all the pieces together and completing a picture and saying, oh, that's what it is. Maybe the point is assembling the puzzle, just the work. And if we do the best we can at that, then that's maybe all God asks of us. That's all we can do. Maybe it's only after we die that we see the whole picture. God will show us kind of what it looked like, what our lives looked like, how we put them together, and the love that we shared. That was kind of the point. So I will be sharing kind of on a regular basis some things that might be helpful to people, rather short kind of presentations about different puzzle pieces of life. And hopefully that if you, it will be helpful to you, helpful to anybody who tunes in, helping us kind of live life with a little bit more peace, a little bit more contentment, a little bit less pain, a little bit less anxiety, and going along from there. And so hope this is helpful. I will see you in later segments.